Hey! What's up? It's been a while. So, I remember last time I saw you, or around last time, I promised something like a video a week for an entire year, something like that. Let's see how our progress is going. Okay. Still have a chance to catch up. Year's not over. How many videos a week do I have to make to catch up? Well, fun! Fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, anyway, so last year in 2018 I went to Peru, still catching up on a lot of old photos and editing and so on. And part of the photos I did for Peru were these really long panoramic shots, which to do them typically is you either take a really wide lens and you just go, or you take one of these, which is a 360 cam, or if you want to get really high resolution, what you can do is take a series of other photos and stitch them together. And typically people do this in Photoshop, or like I've used Photoshop in the past, but Lightroom, which is the main photo editor I use, actually has a feature where you can stitch together photos and create panoramic shots in the app. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that really quick, just take you through what I did more or less. I've already technically edited this photo, gone through, as you can see here. It's quite a large photo. You can zoom in and like there's, where was it? There was a dude smiling. There we go. Look at my friend. Look at my friend over there. And you can see how zoomed in we are. That's not what I want to do. You can see my shadow right over there. Look at that. That's me on my camera. So the way to set this up, you have to be conscious when you're taking the photos. You can't just stitch together a bunch of random ones or you're going to get some really weird results. I would recommend getting a tripod. Shoot vertically, because if you can get more vertical real estate, it'll be easier to stitch together photos horizontally than it is to like combine vertical photos. Just trust me on that one. Also, shoot a little wider than you think you're gonna need. A lot of times, because of the distortion effect and depending on how you stitch the photos together, you're gonna lose some of the top and the bottom of the photo. So kind of plan in advance and shoot a little wider than you wouldn't necessarily do for a normal photo. I'll show you some examples. This is one of the photos that I took. You can see it's a vertical shot. This isn't a horizontal shot. And as we go through each image, you're gonna see not only is it a little wide, this is technically one of the first panoramic shots I ever shot. So I could have given myself a little more headroom. I think that would have helped. I'm still happy with the way it turned out. You want to keep your exposure consistent. Don't shoot in auto, shoot in manual. It doesn't take too long to learn how to shoot manually. So just keep your settings consistent. The other one, if you're noticing you're getting a lot of glare, for example, I was getting near the end here, what you can do is just cup your hand around the lens, block out some of the light. Though if you're going to do that, make sure you do that for every single shot. Otherwise, you're going to get some weird results as you move along. What I would recommend is keep them in individual folders. So like in this folder, this first folder, I have all my photos from Sacsayhuaman. Might be saying that wrong. I don't really remember. Perdón a mis hermanos peruanos, si lo dije mal. Yeah, I mean, oops. Once you have them, import them into Lightroom, and then we're going to do something really simple. We're just going to highlight all of them. You can just press Shift and select all of them. Select the first, select the end. You're going to right-click, and you're going to go to Photo Merge. Ooh, what is this tool? Well, it merges photo. Click Panorama. Very simple. I'm going to drag this window into here, and you're going to give it a second to actually do that. We can see we have our photo. And you're going to have three main options. Perspective won't work if you have too many photos, is what I found. I think the limit is 3. Don't quote me on that. I've only ever gotten it to work really with 3 photos. Perspective will correct for any distortion in the photo. Spherical will put it, imagine if you're seeing this image on a sphere. That's basically what it's doing, on the inside of a sphere. Cylindrical, it'll edit it slightly. Instead of accounting for the vertical, it'll just account for the horizontal. As you can see right there. I mean, I would recommend for most photos, if you can, do perspective. It corrects for a little bit of the distortion, but if you're doing things wide like this, you're going to get distortion almost anyway, unless you're like really taking care, in which case, why the frick are you watching my video on this? You should already know what you're doing. Spherical is typically what I go with, just because it does account for that vertical distortion slightly, not much. It really won't make that much of a difference, like you can see here. It's really not that much different. So one thing I do want to mention is you have an option to auto crop or boundary warp. Boundary warp is going to stretch the image. So you can see in the cloud in the top, It's going to stretch the image up and down. It will distort it slightly. It doesn't make that much of a difference, to be honest. If you're A and Bing the photos, yeah, you're going to see a difference. But for someone just scrolling through Instagram seeing this, it's not going to make that much of a difference. I would only recommend doing that if you really want to get all of the photo in. That's why you leave a little bit of space, because then if you auto crop, it should just cut right in. So you're not going to have any of those white spaces. So that's what we're going to work with. So let's just hit merge. It's going to work on that for a bit. It's going to take a while. So while we're waiting, let me tell you about recently I saw Avengers, all the movies except for Endgame and Captain Marvel, technically. I have to say, not bad, not bad. The whole scene where like Thanos invites them over for dinner, and then, you know, he makes bean pasta, and everyone's like, why is it bean pasta? No, how dare you? We're gonna fight you back. And he's like, no. It's pretty good. And then, you know, the whole, oh, Mr. Stark, the bean pasta doesn't make me feel so good. Yeah, it was real touching moment. And it's done. We can go into our develop settings, which is just where you edit things in Lightroom. For people unfamiliar with the software, you know. My computer's running a little slow, by the way, right now, because I technically have video in the background because I'm auto-fishing because of the terming event. For people who don't know what I said, just ignore it. Now you can see we have an extremely high quality photo, which you can do a lot with. If you wanted to crop in, say, you know, this much, which would be a significant loss in quality in most like typical photos, you can see we're still good. We are still good here. Heck, if you wanted to go like this, because these are full resolution photos, that's still like a usable photo. I mean, I think the framing is shit, but it still works as a, like, you know, it still works pixel-wise. It's real fun, and you can play around with the settings a lot. Again, here's the final image I ended up creating. Whoops, let's get out of that. For example, if your camera isn't the highest resolution, but you still want to get a beautiful scenic shot, an easy way to get around that is just to combine multiple photos. You don't even have to make it this wide. Again, if you combine 2 or 3 photos, you can still get awesome results. Anyway, I'm not going to take you through how I edited this photo, because, I mean, it didn't take that long, but I also just don't feel like it right now, and I've got coffee to go to. I mean, to drink, to peep. Let's end the video. Random question, if anyone has experience with film scanners, let me know what your favorite ones are, because I'm looking for some. I've got way too many film photos to deal with. I think we're done. I think that's the video. That wasn't that hard. Why didn't I make more of these?